Okay, I'm gonna start. It feels like doing weird. Like, I don't know. That was so weird. Like, I just started it, and all of a sudden it like changed, like into, I don't know how to explain it. Like, changing from, if it was like, went from color to black and white or something, it changed like, but it was like changed from regular looking to like more cartoonish or something. It was weird. And so I stopped it and then started again, but then the light's done something weird. So anyways, now my nose is running. But it's 3:30 and I was like, fuck, I just gotta fucking talk. My head is just way too full. I felt like I could have yesterday afternoon. It was like, but I was, I'm telling you, time to me feels like it's going fast. And I've been just busy. Like, it's so crazy. I'll start doing something. Yesterday we went to the dog park and I stopped and got groceries, came home, put them away, made dinner, and it's just like the day's over. It's like, what? But I looked yesterday on TikTok for a while. I to kind of see what was going on. You kind of get addicted, but it's kind of just so depressing. It's just the same things over and over. But I have a bunch of stuff that I want to say. And then, this is my third cup of tea too. And, oh, look at this thing. They have been saying, like, you're supposed to sleep in the complete black, like you're not supposed to have any light at all, and you'll sleep better. And I have all these little lights around. And, so anyways, I got one of these mask things. It was like, I don't know, $6 or $8 or something off Amazon. And it's kind of cool because it has these pad things around your eyes. But what's weird is, I don't know how to explain it. It is like it's like it cuts something off or something. And it's like I could see that I was in the black. And I don't know how to explain it, but it did change something with my sleep. And then I was, I just don't know how to explain it. And then, I have something on super low, but I totally I burnt the shit out of those beans the other day. So hold on just a sec. Just turned them off. Okay, so anyways, I forget about stuff like that. I forget, like, I just do stuff and I forget. And then, there was a point where I was like, my brain injury. But then there was so many people, I do the same thing. Because before that, I think it's like, well, attention deficit, pay better attention. I don't know. I just think that I think that's easy to do. Put stuff on the stove and forget about it. I think fires are started doing that. Okay. So anyways, this is my third cup of, and I did start putting, one black tea bag. I rip it open and I put it inside my tea ball with the herbs and stuff. Because I saw somebody explaining about there's a bunch of good stuff that comes out of tea for you, out of the black tea. I don't remember. I can't repeat somebody else's stuff. So anyways, you can look it up. Or I can look for the video and share it if you want. Okay. So anyways, I probably do have some caffeine. And this is my third cup. It's only 3:30 in the morning. Boy, I come out strong. Okay, hold on. 4 minutes in. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about was, there's a bunch of stuff that they say about perimenopause and menopause. I see lots of those ladies on there trying to talk to women about menopause and perimenopause and all these different things. And now I see it the same as I see these women who are trying to tell people how to, go bold, let your hair go silver, love yourself, and all that stuff. Like, look at that, man. Like, look. It's seriously almost gone. I can't wait. Let's just spray some magnesium on my feet. Well, maybe we'll watch it. Because I swear to God, it is like throughout the day, it is changing. And I have been spraying the shit on my feet with this. And it's so oily that it attracts all the dirt on my feet. I swear to God, I look like a cave woman. And then I act like a dog. I live with dogs and I act like a dog. I live in a giant dog house with some dogs. And I'm always like, "Rrr, rrr." But they totally get it, boy. You grumble at your dogs like they grumble at you. They'll know what you're talking about if you use it appropriately. You got to use the same kind of sounds that they use that they understand. But anyways, I'm just like, fuck, I'm becoming like some sort of animal woman in the woods. God, my hair. It hits right in this weird spot on the here because I have a counter. And so it hits and it just, I don't know. It just looks weird. I don't know. Sometimes I got to just not look at it because I'll obsess over it. Like, what am I going to do? I'm just like in a mirror fixing myself. So, anyways, I don't think the menopause stuff is real. And I was just talking to, and I know there's lots and lots of women because your body starts changing, but the changes have to do with mineral deficits. What the fuck with this thing is bouncing, man? Like what? Hold on. I'm somehow hitting something that's bouncing it, I think. Or the ground's shaking. Whoa. I swear to God, there's people making that fake of videos, like, and putting them online. And then they do all these sound effects. They use these sound bites and stuff. And you could tell it's just like, God, people are weird. There's so much weird. This is like humanity purging out the weirdness. Like, and you can say some stuff like this, and it can come across. That's why I would rather talk where you get to talk more in depth about this stuff. So, because boy, there's some women who are really being attacked. I mean, they are being attacked. I don't know that they knew their videos. Like, as soon as you see their videos, like, oh, and I have people do that to mine sometimes. They'll be like, oh, you should take that down. But then I'll leave it up. And then I have a whole shit ton of people who come in who are like, yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. So sometimes it's like you got to give people that space. Otherwise, if they only hear everybody else's perspective and they're not hearing this other one, then they're confused over their own, because then they're thinking like, what the fuck? So it's like, you know, I think it's valid. I'm sure they have some people, these girls, they're being attacked. I'm sure they have some people who completely get what they say. Like I could get what that, let me think what they both said. I'll tell you, because it was, yeah, I'm just gonna be all over the place. Ugh. So one of them, she said the snippet that they're using out of her video, because I've seen the whole video now, and I had seen this snippet, and I was like, fuck, man, this snippet makes it seem like she's saying something different than if you hear her whole video. Because when you hear her whole video, I hear the complaint is, you know, this disaster happened here. We have this vacation planned. We already paid for it. And we've told the guy, you know, this doesn't seem like this vacation is going to happen now. We don't even, like, we think everything is messed up. So we just want to cancel and get our money back. And people wouldn't do it. But that's one of the things is all the Airbnbs. This is what people are waking up to. Because this is what you got to realize. That all these things are what people are waking up to. And so all these, God, I got a lot of things. Hold on. Fuck, it's just like, whew. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to have to go fast and hit on some of this stuff. So I'm not going to go way in, but I do want to say more about the menopause, and I want to say more stuff about the aging and all of this fucking bullshit. And but oh god damn, this is like I'm in a tornado or something of information. Okay, so so she was saying this about, that this vacation was canceled. Well, anybody who's paying attention to this bullshit when it was going on with Hawaii, because that still is not fixed. Like, that's still a fucking disaster. And so anybody who's paying attention to this saw this part of humanity. Like, well, I'm going on vacation there, just completely oblivious to what is happening and just don't care and just go. There was people who just stayed there using resources. There was all sorts of bullshit. And it just showed this disconnect. People, humans just are, if it doesn't happen to them, well, is it really happening? I don't know. And that's what we're all witnessing. Like, that's why so many of us would be talking about, oh, did you see what's happening? And, your family's like, oh my God, you're so crazy. Why do you believe everything on the internet? And it's like, connecting and listening to people and stuff. People are showing. It's like, but their soul is, some of this stuff is hard to explain. It's like, I completely understand it, but I know the way I say it is going to be taken in different ways. Hold on. Got that out of the way. Okay. So so the lady, let's just go back there because I'm already off of that part. Okay, so the lady, okay, so yeah, okay, so the vacations and stuff. Okay, so the people, humans, they get caught up in, this is what is used against us because we get so distracted. We get so easily, look over here, see this. And it's just like, we get caught up. And like, they can show these distractions and they create a whole fucking gymnasium out of it. They got people picking sides. They got, it's a fucking thing. And so these distractions and shit work well for them because, we just buy into it. We play into it all the time. We play into their games. Still has a little drama here. And, so, hold on. Here, do you want me to fix it? Look. There, lady. There you go. I had tipped her bed back to, on the thing, her little bed. She's got like a little flat, she's got a big giant one. And then she has this little one that we use for traveling, but she likes to lay on it in different places because I can't drag a big ass bed around. So anyways, I could go off on all these different things. It's so crazy. Okay. So the people, they get focused on a certain thing. It's reality becomes what you focus on. That becomes your whole focus. So that becomes your reality. And you fine tune into something. That's why you have to really work on your awareness of what it is that you're tuned into. As most people are tuned into their pain and suffering and life sucks, and it's like they spend so much time in mental hostility. So yeah, that's trippy because when I was in my dark night and I had gone to the doctor because I'm not shitting you how suicidal I was. And I'm not like that. And it wasn't like I was really thinking I was going to do it, but the visions wouldn't get out of my motherfucking head. And it could have been the house, like where I was at. And it could have been that the one ghost lady, maybe she was a protector of mine. The one that had been there with me for a long time. I don't know. And maybe, once that I got into that dark space, it attracted a lot of dark energy. I was definitely in a neighborhood where you would say there's a lot of dark energy in this neighborhood. It was more of a lower income. It was one of those where it was gentrified, becoming gentrified. It was one where the city let it dilapidate. The houses went down cheaper, and it becomes poor, kind of beat down, run down. And then people who start going out to look for houses, then they start being able to be like, well, that's all they can afford. But then they can afford it because what happens in these communities, these ghettos communities and stuff like that, that they get it to where it's, a lot of drugs and a lot of people in poverty and stuff. And so then when other people move in, it's like this new change in the energy, and it comes in, and then that is when they start building it up, like I had talked about before, like what the gay guys did in Oak Cliff back in Greenville area back in Dallas back in the 80s. And you know, at the time, you know, before when we would see this, like I didn't even understand about that stuff until I watched Shameless, and the way they played it out and showed it was like, oh man, yeah, this Fox communities. And the and that is how I started seeing, I got that powder stuff in my mouth. That is how I started seeing the manipulation, like why I got so pissed off about these fucking developers and the way they come in and they jack up the prices on the houses. Like my house jumped up from 150,000 to 300,000 or something in a year. And I was like, this is some bullshit, man. And then they were building all these houses, but you can see how it's a manipulation. That's how, like, I can just see through this shit, you know, and the more reference you have, the more stuff, the easier it is to put together all these dots. So, and they don't want you to do that. They want you to just hyper focus on problem, problem, problem. Life sucks, life sucks. So they, and so many, is a job, is a fucking, just like what's happening with that plastics place during this flood situation. And people are just like, can't even believe it. They can't even believe it. And they want to go all in on this one corporation. It's like, dude, this is the corporation is exposing wherever you work. All these places, unless you work for a mom and pop small business, you are working for some kind of entity, LLC, some kind of corporation, some kind of an extension of people who hand out a book to tell them how to deal with the employees, and you aren't shit. You aren't shit to them. And you can die slow at the grind, getting up every day, getting there, hurrying, blowing off anything that makes you happy or gives you, feed your soul. Just dedicate it to this fucking grind. Become less and less. You become like I'm seeing this cartoon. I think it is used for some kind of video, but it's like this little white mouse, and he's just going to the factory and going in, and he's just becoming more dilapidated, more weak. He's losing his color. So that's the slow death that they drain us. And then, but they don't give a shit. Like the stuff that happened in Chernobyl and stuff, like these people who have people in their companies and stuff, they're expendable. They don't give a shit. And so, you know, there's a bunch of people missing and stuff because this company made these people work, and they couldn't leave until the water was waist high. And then it came in and it swept a bunch away, and now they're missing. So people are freaking out. And it's the same thing as like with this lady. If you go in and listen to her whole video, she's explaining the dealing with the corporations, because most of the Airbnbs now are owned by these LLCs and stuff. That's one of the problems. They went in and bought all these houses in neighborhoods when they go to sell, and then they jack up the price on rent, or they do these Airbnbs. And so there's just all this economic manipulation with these people who get some money. Just like this just shows like it's like a capitalist way of thinking, is a capitalizing off of someone else. Because I saw a video, because there's all sorts of issues with gas and food, and the lines to get into any place where there is are like, oh my God. Somebody was showing the line to the Walmart to gas. I've seen lines to a few different stores and stuff. They are so fucking long and not moving. And you'd think like the grocery store's gonna be empty by the time all these people get in there. There's not gonna be anything left in there. Like that, not as many people shop every day. And then Walmart, because the corporations, they went in and threw away all this food. They said, well, the power went out, and so we can't trust the food, so we're gonna throw it away. It's like people would take that food and cook the germs out. I think a lot of people, because a lot of where humanity is still on a very dependent on the subculture of consumption of energy off of other sources. And so they are very, and we've been misled, well, you got to eat 3 times a day. You got to, all this stuff that they told people. And so people are programmed that way. And so then people think, well, I'm going to starve if I don't eat. What have I been saying for a long time? So crazy when you see this stuff play out. And then all these people, so many people not prepared at all. And they're all like, well, we didn't know the storm was coming. Yeah, but the thing is like, there's been so much information, like all of us who have been paying attention to what's happening in the world. It's just been nonstop for how long that they've been telling you, get prepared, get prepared, get prepared. Something's about to go down. And then plus you can feel the build in your soul. But a lot of people who are distracted and stuff, see, they're just feeling like anxiety and feeling tension, and they're trying to keep their darkness at bay, because this energy is gonna be revealing itself, revealing the darkness. But when I was surrounded by the darkness during my dark night, and I kept seeing, because I had this high stair thing, because it was like a sunken living room above. So it was like a high stair thing, like the kitchen was way up here and the living room was right down here. So there was this long thing, and it was open. And every time I would look up, I would be like, I would see myself hanging. And it was like, fuck, man. That's where, that dark energy just is, I don't know, like, oh, wouldn't life be easier? You could just hang yourself. Look, it would be so much easier. You wouldn't have to deal with shit. You can't listen to that. Like, then you take your troubles with you into the next life. And then it's harder to deal with, because then it's like a whole reshuffle. It's way better to deal with the stuff that you have to deal with than to try and find the easy out, because there's no out. There's no easy out. There's no escaping. You can't escape who you are, what you've done, what you're going to do. So let me see, because there was like, okay, so the woman who was saying, oh, this lady though, oh God, that lady was like, Jesus Christ, woman, do you even know what you said? And I've seen so many videos in response, but this is where these people are. There's a thing over here I haven't finished, but I'll see. But these people, man, oh yeah, and that lady too, god damn. Okay, so this one lady who everybody's sharing her video, she went on there and she was so excited that so many racists were just killed. Like, she was so excited. And everybody knows that these are all red places. Like, you have that whole group. There's, look what they're doing. They're destroying the red. Well, how are we supposed to fill in our bell? What are we going to do? Well, the rest of us would say, hey, no, we're not going to do this. Like, that would be absurd. Like, that's absurd. Yeah, all these things. And we're still going to, those people, they can say, yeah, we're all going to do it this day. And guess who won? This lady right here. But the rest of it, we all have to say, no, none of it, no. Like, we have to stick together. Like, it's wacky, man. And when you hear these people, but see these people, you look at it kind of like martyrs, because these people are what brings it up in people, really gets people to look at shit. So there was a guy I had seen a few days before, and he was saying about all these sundown towns. These are all sundown towns that were hit. So that must be a thing in the South, because over here up in the Northeast or Northwest, we don't, sundown town. I was thinking, when he said sundown town, I was thinking, oh, so all the towns that roll up their sidewalks at night, everybody's home by 6. So I'm thinking, okay, these are just little towns. And so a whole bunch of little towns. So I'm thinking, yeah, they're hitting all these rural mountain people. They're, and like I've said for a long while, who they're out to get. And so they are hitting all these little rural places, and they're killing off all these mountain people because that's what they like to do. Like, fucking, there's a reason why they decided to test the opioids out on the minors. Like, these people, like, there's a reason why West Virginia has the biggest drug problem in the whole entire world. And so, well, I don't know if it's the whole entire world, but all of America, the worst drug problem is in West Virginia. So, and you'd think, I think a lot of people don't really understand. Like, I didn't until my daughter put on a show. It was like, what was that one show? Because there was all these shows on these channels. I don't even know what channel, like an MTV kind of channel or something. And Alabama, what was that one called? Alabama, not Alabama Shakes, that's a band. Alabama Summer, Beach or something. It was a show, like they had like Bad Girls. They had all these shows. Like this is all a direction that they put kids in. And and in this one, all these kids, all they did was party, drama, get drunk. It was just one of those shows. And then they did one on West Virginia and showing, and it was like, all these people were like deep South hillbillies or something, like they all had really thick accents. They were like mountain people. And I kept thinking West Virginia was like, I don't know. Like the image that would come into my mind would be like plantation ladies or something, like these upper crust kind of hoity-toity ladies or something. And so then when I saw that, I was like, dang, West Virginia is all mountain people. But then when I watched the stuff about dope, what was that called? Dope Sick on Hulu. That shows a lot about what they did. It's about how they got the epidemic started, and they used the minors. So it's just sickening. All these people are so sickening. So, and that's all over in this place. So they developed this drug addiction on purpose. And now there's a crisis. Like we got crises all over the place. Like there's even people who are, freaking out about Asheville when there's a whole bunch of places, and even people in Hawaii are saying, what about us still? We're over here. Like, and there's so many places. And that's what becomes kind of absurd with all these people who go on trying to get everybody else to help, donate, bring all this stuff. It's like, when anybody who understands the system, you understand you can't get the stuff to them. I mean, and even when you're sending a bunch of stuff, that they intercept it, and the money thing is just a way to get us to donate. Like they pull at your heartstrings, but they interfere, they take it. Like there's been so much of this going on, and the money never gets to the people. That's what has been shown, is that the people all have to come together. Like people got to go fucking Amish in their minds. You got to come together. And in some of these places, like also you got to be, thinking like, oh, okay, well, this place is washed out. It's gone. There's people who want to rebuild, but you have to look like if this is a place where they're about to just reflood it again and it's going to just keep wiping it out, get the fuck out, man. It's wiped out. Everything's gone now. Go, And it's sad because I saw one thing of a girl who was escaping Florida hurricane, which wasn't even that bad for them compared to this other thing. Because this is not hurricane. Like hurricanes don't just travel across the thing and bring water with them across the goddamn fucking. So and so she went to evacuate from Florida and went to Asheville. There's so many pictures of people up that are missing. And there are people who are there are saying that the amount of dead people it's crazy, and there's just the smell, and now the water's all receded. I thought it was so strange how there was water everywhere. It was just water, and people are like, we've got no water and no food. I was like, look at how humans have adapted in their mind. You're surrounded by water, and you don't look at it as like, well, we've got plenty of water. We got to figure out how to sterilize some. But back in the day before, all that, I mean, if a cowboy was riding across and there was a stream, him and his horse were drinking out of the same fucking water. So we have gotten ourselves into that kind of, but that's not good enough for me. And that is, and we need the water to come out through the pipes. And that's good water. And then, but when you understand, no, that's water has been interfered with. They have put a bunch of chemicals in it. And then they've got us to think that that's the clean water. So that whole thing, but now it's all dried out. And then when I had said that too, because I said it out on TikTok, and there was people who were like, but the water's all full of stuff and everything. It's like, yeah, but this is still happening. Like, what in the fuck, Americans? Like, this is in some people's lives. This is how some humans are living. There is humans who have to go walk to a place to get clean water, carried in jugs on their heads, on their hips, on their back, carrying it every day down to their village for the other people to have clean water. And they had to go out and look for the water, and we just all sit there whining and crying, stomping our feet. Somebody just bring me some. And then what they're bringing them is all this bottled water that is full of fucking bull. I can't even tell you how many fucking videos I've seen of them breaking down the fucking chemicals in the water. It's not even just the water, it's the motherfucking plastic. It's like so much shit. But to us, it's like, well, the water that's coming from the rivers that is rushing through, that's contaminated and dirty. But you got to go find a place. There would be some place, and they get afraid. It shows about drilling down into the ground. And I think when you go like near where there's a lot of greenery and you drill down far enough, water will start coming up. And then there's ways that you can capture that water. But and then there was people who were like, oh my God, people just lost everything. They just lost their home. And you're talking about they should be looking for clean water? Okay. I'm talking about you want to survive this shit. You're talking about, oh my gosh, they just lost something material. Like, we're not on the same wavelength. And there was a couple of people who tried to come in on me on that. And, I've lost houses. Like, that's something you gotta learn. It's something you just gotta, it's about letting go. And, especially, like, there's tons of us who have lost houses, lost things and stuff like that. But, especially when you're losing it in a disaster. Like, you gotta be thinking, like, I've escaped with my life. I'm fucking lucky. Not like, oh, poor me, I just lost my house. It's like, yeah, that's a part of your process, your grieving process. Everything that I had is gone. But that is a part of this, like, detaching from it. It's like, something you were holding on. There was something that was off. And this isn't God making this decision. You made this decision. This is what you came into play out because it fit into your lessons that you were doing. The role fit for you. So you took it. So it's not... you just, once you go through the process, then you will recognize it more. It's more of a people being resistant to the process when shit goes down. But, losing your stuff, especially, right, like what I'm saying is, like, once that stuff is all gone, that's like the universe saying, okay, this is gone. And I think these people need to be looking at this map because it sure the fuck looks like this is the part that got so devastated is the part that's going to be gone. When this water is going to envelop it, when this country splits in two in that area. And now I'm even thinking on the, over here where my kids are at, Yakima Valley, because then somebody said, everybody, because now they got these other couple of hurricanes coming right in, and there is people who are near there. And one woman, she was doing a video and she was saying that, the week before that she had gotten some message or some saying that their dam had problems. And so she was like, I wonder, if they're fixing it or whatever. She didn't think that much about it until all of a sudden the next week when 3 dams broke. Now she's like, what? And so then there was people like, you got to go check your dam. So I went on it yesterday and there's because you can Google something, dams in disrepair or something. I can share the link or something, but something like that. And in United States, and there's 50 came up, and I was like going down, reading them, seeing if there's any by me, and a lot of them are in the same kind of area. So a lot of them will have, one area will have like five of them that are bad. And then, so Yakima Valley, where my kids and my grandkids and stuff are, Like two other daughters, they're still in Spokane, but the ones with the kids are in Yakima Valley, and five dams. And so that is, so we've got the volcano above them. We got the tsunami that's saying it's going to come in and hit into the Yakima Valley. And so now I'm seeing their valley is like how I'm seeing these other people, like a washout, especially if they have 5 dams right there that can go. And I don't even know where. And there is a lot of mountains, so it will be like different places will fill up with water. So I don't know. It's not going to be, I don't think any place is going to be left how it is. Like, I don't know, even here, like, and it's stressful, man, with these giant trees. And then you see all these people, all these trees going down, and some go down on people's cars, on their houses, but all the roads, people are trapped. There's a lot of roads that washed out, mountain roads, that were the whole road's just gone. Trees down everywhere, buildings just washed away, just mud. There's one place was just filled with rocks, like all these rocks, places with sand, just changing our landscape. This is what I've been saying. Our landscape is changing. Our history is going under the ground. And then there's so many people who don't understand all these things, so they get all scared and stuff. But see, those people are the ones that are playing out these parts for us. But that doesn't mean they're NPCs and not real. They're having real trauma, going through real things. They're having real lessons. And but everybody, we're all on these different levels of what we're doing. Not everybody's here to go the same thing through the whole, like the initiation to the golden age, age of Aquarius. So not everybody's here to go through this whole process of shedding and healing and evolving. And so but all these parts have a significant role, all these different things. So all the different people, like people are so tore up about all these people being gone. And so many were like showing pictures of couples, and they're missing the husband and wife, like families, and all sorts of couples. And I always think that, like, God, that's so sweet, though. I mean, it's sad and tragic for the actual people who lose them, but in the soul thing, it's really sweet. It's like, the water comes in and they just walk off together and go wherever they're going to the next thing. And so it seems tragic to all of us in the story, but it's, it's the people, I don't know, it's not really like people dying. It's like people are so caught up in death and fear, and it's not real. And so but then you say stuff like that, and since it's not the general consensus, people think you're weird and hateful and all this stuff. It's like, you just don't understand, like, this place. So the one girl who, so the one guy, he was saying about all these sundown towns that got hit. And so, like I said, I thought that was when the sun goes down, that the sidewalks roll up and everybody goes home. And so those towns that you go through where everything's closed, there's nothing open. And so that's what I thought a sundown town was. And so then I kept seeing people say, and then there was like, I think the next one I saw was actually somebody saying, it was a black guy, and he was saying, I can't believe you guys are sitting there saying these are sundown towns. Like, you guys are so ignorant. And he starts talking about, like, because I've seen other videos too. One of them was like more of a hillbilly mountain guy. And he said, that up here in the mountains, it's poor. We're all poor. We don't look at each other in color, but we got all of them up here. This is not a sundown town. We all live together. Mexicans, black people, we're all poor up here together. That's their thing. They don't divide on color. They They unify off, not collateral, but it's like a common theme in their reality. That's how different places are built, different realities. So they have a common theme in their reality, and it's not based off of color and stuff. They all are, we're all poor together. And is what builds community. Bet your motherfucking ass there is some communities up there that are strong, and they are there for each other, just like the Amish people and stuff, and that they come together way more than in the city. I get these flashes of like the ice storm and stuff in Oregon, and, these grown up people out there, standing with the trees down. They don't know what to do. The people in this city, there's no challenges. You lose part of yourself if you're not challenging that side of yourself, if that side of yourself isn't growing. So men do become soft and weak. Men do become more of a corporate motorhead, not so much of a man. Like, I'm a man, I'll take care of, like men used to take care of their families different than how they are now. And this other way it does make them softer and stuff, but then on top of it, they do the stuff with the hormones and stuff with the food. So a lot of men have too much estrogen or something, not enough testosterone. I mean, I've seen videos of men complaining about their growing boobs and stuff. So, and that is also where at the same time you see all these women having menopause and perimenopause. Well, I think it has to do with probably because of the hormones and shit in the food that is jacking people up, and then they're not going to tell you the truth. And then the deficits in these different minerals cause these things where people think, I've got this problem, I've got that problem. Because I swear to God, the more this goes on, I can't find any of those symptoms, anything. And my uterus was completely, everything was taken out. So, when we go on the med bed, I'm gonna grow it back. And then today's the first. Today's supposed to be some big significant thing on the money part. And supposedly 159 countries won't use a dollar. So, and anything can happen. Like the part where you can't use your card anywhere. Cash isn't oh yeah, because what I was going to say about the capitalist is like there was people at this one gas station, and they had got the gas, and then they were selling it for $10. So they got a chance at the pump, and then they wouldn't let anybody else or something. And then they keep filling up things and then selling them for $10 a gallon. Or either the gas station was selling it for $10 a gallon. Because it was a long ass line, and the guy goes up there and asks, so how much is it? And they keep going, monkeying around. And then he finally goes, $10 a gallon. And it's like, that is like when people are in crisis and all you can do is like, oh, I'm going to capitalize off this. I'm going to make sure these people get fucked. That energy in our humanity is leaving. It's being exposed. And people who think like that and are like that, their karma will come back on them. Things will come back on them and push them to motivate them to change, motivate them to heal and stuff. But some won't. And some will, be killed tragically and stuff. And that's not to say all the people who are dying are not, are all that lower vibration or something. That's not it. Even the people who were asleep, that is a part of their role. And it is kind of to teach the rest of us is like when you're not paying attention, like the way they've shut these people's minds down to not be paying attention. Like all these people who nobody was prepared for anything to go down when we have been being told for months and months and months. I swear to God, it's been years where they've been saying, have stuff that you could survive for 10 days with no power, no electricity, no water, have water stocked up, have food that you can cook. But then you have to have non-perishable food that you can have, because if you just fill your fridge and the power goes out, then you got all this food rotting. That's one of the problems that I've had with people. But to me, it's like, why would you not go out and start cooking all the food? Everybody come up, let's cook all this food up. Let's all eat it. Like that's where you start bringing community. It's the people who will go together and build community. And I see it kind of like, it's almost biblical, like how they kept saying, this is biblical, what's happening is like in the desert, like I see like all these people, everything being washed away, but all the people coming together and walking. And I don't know if that is a part of the story of the people in going into the Red Sea and the Red Sea parting, but because there was some big group of people that all came together that were going together, and then God protected them because they were trying to get away from the soldiers or something, and they went into the sea parted, and they went through the sea, and then the soldiers came up behind them, but then the sea closed in on the soldiers, because that's karma. That's way that's what I'm saying. These stuff is about to, karma is about to serve up a platter to people, and people are not going to see it coming because they're not spiritual. They don't like this. I saw this mom who was talking about her daughter started saying that she was not a thespian, something like that. Some I'm a Therian. I think it is a Therian. And so the mom's like, was it a Therian? Because she's thinking like her daughter's 11. She's thinking, oh, is she going to come out now and say she's a trans or something? And and she's very, creative and stuff like that, she said. And she kept making animal masks and wanting to wear them. So now she's come out that she's Therian, and Therian is the fluffies or whatever, the people who think that they're animals. And there's a whole forum. And so her daughter had been on the forum. So the mom went on and started reading and stuff. And she said all the other kids are very, nobody understands me, nobody gets me and stuff. But she said, we're not like that with our daughter. We're very much like, you express how you want to be expressed and stuff. And she said that her daughter told her that in a past life she was an animal, and she is here to bring in this animal knowledge or something like that. And so I left a message, because in all the other messages it was very different, because people don't look at it as like spiritual. And so I told her to you should get your daughter some reincarnation books. And because her daughter said, that she's reincarnated from an animal. I said you should get her some reincarnation books, so then she would begin to understand that even if she was there as an animal, she's here to be a human now, and to bring in what she learned from the past lives into humanity. Not go and be the same thing you were, only, that's what's creating all of this gender dysphoria and all this stuff, is people aren't able to let go of who they were in these past lives, and they identify too strong with a gender or whatever, and you've got to move through it like you're a whole bunch of different things, but where you focus becomes your reality. And so and I told her you could probably find some reincarnation books where people have said my life is a bird and stuff, that they have all these memories and stuff. She may, and we have all these kids that are just lost spiritually because their parents are lost spiritually, and there's so much that they can learn. But see, then they're out here trying to be a cat and walk around like a cat and stuff. Then we got litter boxes in schools and shit. When you got to get, because I would imagine there probably is a lot of animals here right now who are being reincarnated. Look at how humans treat animals. So I'm sure there's a lot of animals being reincarnated as humans to bring in knowledge to us, to bring in understanding and compassion and stuff. And those will happen through little interactions, like different situations. It's not like they have to go on a platform and speak down to us. It's like these people will go through life, like, and it could be the person who all of a sudden explains to you something about a cat that you had no idea. This little kid tells you something about a cat. It's like, fuck, I didn't know that. It can be something simple like that. So it's not like it has to be these big things, but see, that gives you these reference, and then later you use it in your life. So it has significance, all of your different interactions. So all the different beings and stuff coming in to bring their information. And there's tons of beings that are animals. So yeah, if she thinks she's a cat, she's probably one of those felines or whatever from one of these other places. And or she could have just remembered being a cat, remembered like what she was treated like or something. Like, it's all different things. That's why giving them that outlet so that they can go and research for themselves and try and understand themselves, like, where's this coming from? What am I, what am I all about? Who am I? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? And so to help kids more with that kind of part. So anyways, that thing. Okay, so back on the sundown town. So you have these people then who start saying, these aren't sundown towns, and how dare you guys say that? And that call us racist when we all live up here together in peace and harmony. And so there was a bunch of videos of that. Well, that's just fucking, it's just blown up. And there's one lady who's really getting the shit stitched out of her. She went on all excited. Oh my God, she was so excited that how all these racists have been killed now. And, the planet's going to be better now because all these racists have been killed in all these sundown towns. And so now, yeah, she's getting stitched. Oh man, she is getting to look bad. And one of the thing is that, like, a lot of people don't get, because there's another one too where this girl, and I'm never really quite sure what her platform is. When I very first started seeing her, I kind of thought that she was like a conspiracy theorist. But then she started getting a big following, and then she seemed to like kind of, I don't know, she's kind of like in ego a little bit with, I don't know, because sometimes some of the people can get kind of an ego and kind of get rude toward, like, oh, well, it's our group, and that group's stupid, and we're all in it, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, because she'll just pop up every once in a while. And so she had popped up over the Bashar thing. And I was listening, and it was really irking me. And hold on, my throat. Pouring water down my face. And so she says, like, snickery. Oh, all these spiritual people now all freaking out about Bashar. This is so funny. And I can't believe how they're all acting like, oh my God. Like, you didn't want him to be on this side or something. Like, the stuff she was saying. And just kept making fun about spiritual people and how, how ridiculous that they are, and that they want to sit there and be all upset about Bashar, and all he said was blah, blah, blah. And he said before he said it that you're not going to like my answer. So I don't know. This just gets weirder and weirder to me. But I didn't say anything to her. But it's like, a spiritual person would know there's no side. Like, you're pretending like there's two sides. So I don't know what her beliefs are. And but there's not. It's like the same. It's just a manipulation. And so for somebody to come in and try and as a spiritual person lead people into who to check mark, and then even would to manipulate, well, that's when you'll get the truth. The amount of ridiculousness in this whole fucking thing is just, it's like, boggles the mind. But then you have these people who, like, believe it. Like, it's fucking nonsense, man. Oh, and she did start talking about the same guy, and she was making fun of him. She's like, oh, and you put a triangle on your head, and then you go out and say this and that. He's back when I used to see him all the time, because now he's doing this one against Bashar. When I used to see him all the time, I was always like, a life coach charging people thousands of dollars to tell them how to live their life. And then your other videos is showing how excited you are living your life of all this money that you've manifested. Okay. So, that's not spiritual. And like I said, back And before this new spirituality surfaced, it would have been spiritual, would have been like shedding. You know, I can live without this and still find peace. I can live without this and still find peace. It's a shedding. Now it's like a consumption. And so, yeah, make a lot of money, manifest, get a lot of money, get $1 million, go over there. You want to live like me? Manifest it, man. So it's this whole fucking thing. And when how your life role is your pattern of existence is pre-written. You know, if you're gonna have money or not have money, and in your soul, like if you're out there and you keep telling yourself, well, I'm going to get $1 million, I'm just going to write this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and it keeps not coming, and you keep being like, I'm not doing it right, like I got to go in, this manifester said I just got to sit there every day, if I say it 10 times, I play this sound, if I light this candle, if I throw this over my shoulder, then, and I just keep saying it and saying it, then it's going to happen. It's like, no, of course you're going to be frustrated because you can't make things happen that aren't meant to happen. If you're meant to have $1 million, $1 million will come to you. If you're not meant to have $1 million, then you're not meant to have $1 million. And if you keep chasing it, then you're meant to look at, why do I keep trying to, why can't I be satisfied? Why can't I be happy with what I have? What do I keep thinking I'm going to be happy if I just have that? If I just have that, I'll be happy. Like, and that is something that I'm seeing so much with this hair thing. Like, oh my gosh, the hair stuff going on. But so many of these people are looking for something to make them feel good. It's like all these different things, buying all this stuff, cutting your hair in this style. All these things are not going to make you happy. Happiness comes from finding peace. Finding peace comes from letting go of things. So it's a project. And this whole manifesting thing has just been so distorted. So don't get all caught up in that. What is meant for you comes to you. And if you have a precursor, pre-knowing of what's coming, then that is your challenge to keep going in that direction and know you deserve what it is that you seek. So it's all different things playing out. And let me think, because I was like, okay. So then that girl, she was, okay, so she was saying about that thing with the Bashar and stuff. And this is one thing that it's like, some people need to put this together. And I've talked about it before, but there's a lot of people who seem to be missing this part. When you are going in to talk about these spiritual people, they are blue. They're blue. They're not red. You go and all these, this is one thing is when 2020 started, that I was one thing that I started seeing because I was in that spiritual community. And you know, I wasn't a content creator at that point. I was just a listener. So, you know, when I was looking for people who were going through what I was going through, because it was very confusing when all of a sudden you're going outside and everything looks like it's three-dimensional. And you're like, you guys see this? And everybody's like, what are you talking about? It's like, nothing looks right. And everybody's like, you're crazy. It's like, no, this is really happening. What the fuck is happening? So you go and you're looking and seeking. That's when I got involved with that other group. That gave me so much. And that's when I was seeing all the aliens. I got the telescope. Like, there was, you know, and that was 2016. Like, my dark night was 2015. My brain injury was 2009. It was a long journey to get to the point to being where I was really healing. I mean, it was healing all along, but it was all different things. It's all goes in patterns. It goes in segments. You can handle this, you're going to heal this. Then you build you to handle this and this and this. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And like, man, sometimes you just don't see, like, there's so much stuff I have learned from that Dickie relationship, like, that I did not see before. And so anyways, okay, I gotta see back where I was. So I always loop out of there. So okay, go backwards. So what the fuck was I about to say? When the animals was people need to come together and do mass exodus, and they are trying to move people. I just think that there's, I don't know, there's just so much being caught up in victim, and then so many people showing this side of themselves. Oh yeah, the blue. Okay, so the tarot readers and stuff. So oh yeah, okay. So when I was on there, and I was blue for my whole life. And so then it was, and I was, I was blue. It was just, I was into politics and stuff like that. And I had already, I was in that group when I had lost my house, but it wasn't in a disaster. It was through banking disaster, like through me getting sick. And I couldn't afford the payment, and they wouldn't rework my payment with me. They wouldn't rework my loan or anything and lower my payment. They just took my house. And I've gone through all these different experiences to show me, like, I've seen the judicial from the inside. I've seen the banking system from the inside. I've seen the politics from the inside. I've seen the medical from the inside. I've seen all these things. That's why I can talk about them with, like, I've fucking lived it, man. I'll tell you what my fucking story is. And so when I was going to the Capitol and talking to the fucking people, they don't want to talk to you. They don't give a fuck about you. You are a problem. All they want to do is be in the building. They just want to go to the parties. They don't give a fuck about what we want, the constituents and shit. And they're arrogant. They're fuckery. And so I already was involved with that activist group and going and doing all sorts of protests and marches and shit, like all that stuff. So I was doing all that way before that. I was like in 2014, 2012 to 2014 kind of thing. And so then, no, I was probably 2013, 2014 kind of thing. And so then, so I was on, when I was looking at the spiritual stuff, when I started having my awakening and I started seeing the world different, like I felt like we were in a 3-dimensional picture or something. It was really weird. And so, and I start questioning all these things, like, who owns the earth? How can they sell us something they don't own? Like I would say all this stuff to people, and I kept saying stuff like, they're committing crimes against humanity, you guys. And people kept thinking I was just so wacky. And so I would go online and I was, following all these different spiritual people and who were talking about, what I was understanding at the time. And then then once lockdown happened, and when I would go on and all these different people that were live, they were all red. But I was already open to listen to the red. But all these people were red. And when I would go in and I would listen to people who were blue, they didn't have a fucking clue. I was like, oh my God. So I was really seeing like, because there's a reason like why you go listen to a tarot person and they're like very gender open neutrality and all that stuff. These people are very all progressives. And it's absurd for this person who I'm sure she's read to sit here and think that these people who are blue would be upset when Bashar is saying, go blue. It's like, he's not, people are not upset because he's saying, choose who we would choose. They're upset because no spiritual person would say, take a knee, go and take, it's like, no, that is ridiculous. But for all these people who are read to not see, like the people who are of these other groups are all blue. All these people, when you see people who are, into witchery, they're into the more mystical side of life. The more this other thing, the other people, the red are conservatives. They are into Jesus. They're into the Bible. They're into the story. And they are very they're very, they have a crutch of ego in that story. So these two groups is very much the activists, the ones that are out there who are more open to things and more spiritual and more, all in this mysticism part. That is the blue. And that's why I've said, it's like the blue have the answers to one thing, and the red have an answers to another thing. Like, but when we come together, we get all of the different answers. But they stay separate and thinking this person doesn't know and this person doesn't know. But both of you don't know some shit. And both of you have some knowledge, and both of you, everybody needs to come together and share their knowledge. Just like how, when these small rural mountain towns where people don't have money and they come together just out of circumstance and out of reality, like we're put into these places, and then they come together and create community and unity. And out here in the world, especially in the cities, they just create so much on division and hierarchy and class system and stuff, and so, and all those things are breaking down. Like, there's a reason why all, we're the middle class, why we've all, are all sinking down into this same pool of because this class system is breaking down. So it's not like, it's all being lost or something. It's like the universe is breaking things down to build them up different. So all these different things are things you just not got to let go of. So as things are being taken from you and you're losing things, the hardest is, of course, losing people. And of course, the people whose people they are going to be hit the hardest, and they're going to be going through stuff. But then you have this whole group who's out to save the world still. So we have this whole group who is wants to go out and save the world and make sure that nobody is having any crises. But they're going to become so overwhelmed because the crises are going to keep building because they are going against it seems weird, but it's like these people are not focusing on themselves and their healing. It's like a distraction to help everybody else. There's a crisis here. There's a crisis there. We got to run. We got to go. We got to go help everybody, because then it distracts you from the stuff that you got to work on and heal. And so it's going to, those people are going to become so overwhelmed by the crises and stuff. And then you have those other people who are going through crises who just become very self-contained, self-involved, and poor me. And then these energies feed each other. And so that is still splitting apart. And then there will be more isolation in more of the disasters. There's more, and it's not because the universe has forgotten about you. It's because you are meant to come together. It's like a save yourself community. And whether it's an evacuation together, whether it's like, let's all, build a giant raft together and, let's escape this island. Let's get out of here. This is like a Lord of the Flies situation is going down, where, we've got to adapt, to come together, work together as a team to create something. But it's such an important part of, the paying attention to things. There's so many people, like the map is going around way more. There's way more people talking about the map and stuff, especially because the map is literally changing into the map right in front of us. The landscape is splitting in half. Roads are dropping. All sorts of stuff is going on. So all these things are happening. So there is more people paying attention to the map. But in these disaster areas, to just be like, well, we're just going to rebuild, and then another one's going to come right in and take it again. But that would be their lessons, But the people who... to me, is like, come together and pay attention, and some need to move up to higher ground, and then go as a group, go as a community who has each other's backs, and then go in and help one another rebuild. There's this one video that's so fucking cool. This guy who's up there in the mountain, guy who has got all these mules, and it's like the olden days. He's got them all carrying stuff, and he's going through this stuff. And see, that's how we've got to get back like that. Like, yeah, their roads are falling apart, their infrastructure. How much have we been hearing about infrastructure? Oh, and then the absurdity. So at the same time that all this is happening, old Joe is giving $535 billion to Taiwan. in the crane and stuff, but this one is to Taiwan, and that's to build up their military or something. And because this is all just nonsense of launder, this is not really occurring. There's no $535 billion to give them, but that is to show the people your government doesn't care, because that is to push the people in together to care for each other, to quit thinking the government's going to come save them. Video after video after video, FEMA isn't even coming. The government isn't, the news isn't even talking about it. Nobody's doing this, nobody's doing that. Because this is their awakening. This is for them to see, like, fuck, dude. They don't give a fuck, because they don't. The rest of us have been sitting here watching, and then those of us who we haven't been hit yet, it's just like, well, this is what we're facing. Like, this is what's to come. And so but there's all these people who don't see it. They don't know. This is their awakening. This is their part of seeing, like, the insurance isn't going to pay anything. Like, this is, and this is your come to Jesus moment. This is your, like, the universe is where you got to get into trust with. You can't trust these motherfuckers. They'll take everything from you, and they fucking stomp on you as they're doing it. But the universe wants to give back. The universe gives back on the energy you put out. So if you're constantly like, oh, life sucks, life sucks, life sucks, that is what you're pulling into. And so that's why you got to change your mindset. But healing and going through the process is what relieves that, like, lets it go. Because it is, you do capture all this dark energy. And like what I was going to say a little while ago on the dark energy thing, when I was having it so much of around me, and I went to the doctor, and I was suicidal. I was like, and this is when I was on 18 pills. I'm sick as fuck. I'm fucking dying. And they keep telling me, no, it's not the medicine. And I'm thinking, like, there's something tore up inside of me. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about that too, just a sec. And so then but what he said was for me to change the channel. And I was just like, what? What are you talking about, change the channel? And, but my mom was with me. My mom took me, because back then I was like, I had to take my bike or get a ride or take the bus or whatever. And I don't remember, like, people were a lot more like, you know, is she going to end up in a nursing home? She has gone kind of crazy and stuff like, so and even if they don't remember, I remember it well. Get my memory back on some of this shit. So him saying change the channel, and I was like, what? I couldn't get it. But then as you keep trying to understand it, now it's like, oh, I get it. It's like you're tuned in, you're focused on this one thing. You've got to change your focus, changing the channel. So it's hard to pull back sometimes, but like, just jump to another thing and start focusing on that, because this focusing on that is overwhelming to your system, and it gets your cortisol and stuff. So you keep yourself in this depressed state. So you got to change the channel. You got to focus on something else. And that's why I said, like, turn on happy music, turn on a happy movie, do something to get yourself out of the one mindset, because you can change your mindset by giving new information, like reprogramming yourself. And that's what I'm kind of trying to help with people to understand, how to reprogram yourself, to get yourself to see different, and how you've been trapped by these people, this beast in this system, and the beast system. And then okay, so that thing was it was something with menopause. The other thing that I was going to say, what was that? It was something with well, I don't know, maybe it'll come to me in a second. But but definitely on the aging, the menopause, the perimenopause, all that stuff, I think, is all mineral deficiencies. And all of the symptoms that they have said, even ones that I had before, that I don't have any of those symptoms now, is by refurbishing, like filling the minerals inside of me by replacing. That is like they want you to do hormone replacement. No, you need to do mineral replacement. And I saw a girl talking about B12, and she was talking about all her symptoms because a lot of people are B12 deficient. But the thing that she said that was interesting is like you got to watch out over the B12 you take, because one of them is a synthetic. And if you're not taking natural B12, which to me, all the things, all the minerals and stuff that we need to be getting them natural. But the synthetic, and there's another thing about the vitamin D and the K too with the synthetic stuff. But in the synthetic B12, it has cyanide and aluminum and stuff, and so it does a whole thing. So there, some of their stuff that's supposed to be making you better, make you sicker. And so getting your real minerals, like I still say, get mineral salts because you have so many minerals, even though you're only getting a little. Well, if you get doing it every day and be consistent, then you will fill those minerals back up, because it has a whole bunch of different things. It has like selenium, potassium and stuff. Potassium was one I was just saying that I think I need because of the muscle spasms and stuff. But I also feel like a lot of this muscle spasms and shit is being poisoned, like it's being actually poisoned. And this I thought was kind of interesting. So over there where the fire was, that fire, that the people the next day said that when they went out, when they opened the thing, everything smelled like chlorine and it was fog. They said it's super foggy and everything smells like chlorine. How many motherfucking times have I said that I've gone out walking, it is the fog and it smells like chlorine? Right there, that is goddamn clear across. When has fog ever smelled like chlorine? So, and you'll go out and you'll start feeling lightheaded and sick. My throat fucking kills me by the end of the day. It is so fucking scratchy. And so all these, the videos I saw where, people were feeling sick and stuff like that. Because I'm telling you, the fog is a fucking carrier of some goddamn poison. And it is almost like they could just do smoke and then spray down a very specific thing on people and then blame it on that. They're good at that. They're always good at, because Aline is a beard for, these dams breaking. When obviously these dams, it's been set up to fail. And then it's easy to get these instigators to go around and, do something. I don't know. They probably got them fucking blowing shit up to cause these things to happen. And a lot of it happens in the middle of the night when people are asleep. And then people are hit and it comes out of the blue and they are not expecting it. Oh, and I'll tell you another thing that's weird is supposedly over there in Lahana, that when they put the thing up and they didn't want anybody to see, there's people who are saying that the reason that they did that is because there was things frozen. So they said it was like a flash frozen. They said that when you go in there, there would be like dogs just like walking. There was people just like standing. Everything was just frozen. And so there was a lot of stuff they said that was very different than what they were telling us. And so if they did do some kind of a thing, and because when I was looking at it, I kept saying it's like there's something just was like boom, like, because I kept saying it's not like all these kids are dead. It's like it's just like everything went to another place real quick. And but it was like such a sudden big thing. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. They come in and because they've got so much more technology than we understand about, and they're using it against us. And that is kind of like where their karma is going to come, because they have taken things and they're using against us, and then they've tried to make it like it's our idea or something. But yeah, everything is gonna, and it's already on this, in our own planet, there's already these people going down and stuff, and they're going to be going down for all these crimes of against humanity. But also a big one that is going to be, that I've seen over and over, is that RICO. And they're already, like that's a charge on Sean. That's a charge on, there'll be a lot of that. racketeering and stuff. There'll be a lot with the politicians and stuff. That's a big one. A lot of people are going to go down for those treason, RICO, and crimes against humanity. And it's bad because Trump had already written in those EOs that this was back in 2020. This is when I was watching Meltdown. Is that he was writing in those that if you were involved in any of these crimes, that all your things will be confiscated. So I think that is a lot of where there's places being sold and land being taken and stuff like that. And then it's part of the disclosure, part of us seeing, and the corruption behind it is how they get these lands. Because in Florida, then they started saying that they were going to take all these big, this good land that was the protected land, and they were going to start putting casinos and shit on it. So that is to show the corruption that is behind the government, all of this, like it's all these gangsters. And so all that stuff is to be exposed. There's one sense of spirituality is, we're all going towards this other thing. But it's like the spirits who are here for that will be a certain honing, a drive, a destination locator. So it's not like you have to try and wake the other souls up so that they can get the same thing. What you know is what you know, and what they know is, and a lot of things that people know right now is going to be switched when things, all of a sudden this impact thing. And we are going to keep having these big impactful things. And it's shake stuff up. It's all about the awakening. It's all about reprioritizing, noticing things, like notice, like when you're surrounded with, you're this high in water, and then you're going online and you're saying, we've got no water. It's like you're standing in water up to your fucking neck and you're saying you've got no water. What you need to be saying is, we've got a ton of water, but can anybody tell us how to clean some? Because I don't know how to clean some and I want to drink it. And which I do think that a lot of that water, like I wouldn't just be drinking any, like that gas and stuff in it. Like I would go try and find a place at clean water. Like I'm Naked and Afraid. That's what the whole fucking thing is doing. The whole show is trying to find clean water. Is in a place to make a fire and shelter. And that's, we got to get back to our roots. And when you're stripped down and everything's taken from you, you got to get back to your roots. That's what the fucking universe is showing you. And so the finding clean water and figuring out how to stuff it. I know that it goes through like charcoal and sand is something that cleans the water. Like I can remember those parts, but but it's just filtering it. But I think even if you drink something that's got parasites in it and stuff, if you've got stuff for parasite cleanse, like we fucking eat parasites all goddamn day long. And then they tell us, well, don't drink the water, it's got parasites. Well, parasites are in our motherfucking food. And I can't believe how many videos, like there's people pulling worms out of canned corn. There's people pulling weird plastic shit out of their fucking sandwiches. McDonald's, like it's already come out. They found dead people in parts. Like these corporate fast food things are, Finkelstein owned is what I would say. Like they are there to discard all of the waste that comes from all the rituals and all of the leftovers. Their Thanksgiving dinner's got a lot of shit that they want to spread out to the rest of us. So they take it to these meat handling places. And who do you think owns this shit, man? So they take it there and they dispose of the stuff. And it's ground into stuff. And there's already all these things coming out. Wait till all these people find out that the kids were made into diamonds. I think I already said that. They've been making the dead people into diamonds. Like, there's going to be a lot of people are being like, oh my God, I'm wearing somebody on, because the diamonds became such a consumption for people. Like, oh, a diamond's a girl's best friend, a diamond, I gotta have a diamond, give me a diamond, I'm yours. And so then, basically that's a part of humanity that's got to, and then when people see, like, the things that you chase, there's a darkness to them. And that is what all these people are going to be waking up to, this darkness. There's going to be, I don't know, there could be some people who have a bunch of diamond rings and they're just like, oh, well, you know, because there will be these people who like, well, you know, Gucci's more better. There was somebody who was saying that there's people who are out there, you know, with their Gucci bags and stuff, selling them, trading them for things. Like people are out there bartering and trading whatever they've got to get food, gas, or whatever. And but you know, that is, bartering is important, you know, but it's kind of like, the things that people value are going to change. Like what people value right now is going to be changing. Because even stuff like when you think about like, you know, that hunt over there in Nashville and all that acreage and these people, and there's probably people in that town who are like, oh, the Vanderbilts live here. And they have no idea. And I was thinking, what else did Gloria do besides make these jeans? Like how many of these fucking designers are just like, you know, they're not really, I don't know. There's just so much weirdness in all of these elaborately rich people, these money hoarding people who live off blood and guts and sit up in their towers looking down on us, smugly laughing at us because we want connection and we want to feel good. Like we literally want to feel good. Like that seems to be a human's desire, is to figure out how to feel good. And those people, it's like not even an emotion that they even comprehend, I don't think. I don't know. They're just all fucking weird. But so, you know, the Vanderbilt, like having that place, and it's like, is their whole claim to fame is like her designer jeans? Like, because jeans were already designed. Just because you slapped your name on a pair, said take them in on the legs and call them my name. It's like, I don't know. Is there, I don't know. There's just so much weird shit to just look at and stuff. With, there was still that thing I wanted to say about, the menopause and stuff. But I will say, because there is more people now, like, who are noticing my hair. And they're like, are you coloring your hair? It's not being colored. It's being colored by minerals, taking minerals and stuff. I just think it's really important because I think there's a lot of people who don't have a healthy lifestyle. And then they'll say, well, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? And I'll say, well, you just drink out of copper and take magnesium. But you may not have the same results if you are, you know, eating up a lot of toxins and your body's like in overdrive all the time because your body is trying to filtrate all of these different toxins and stuff. Because there's so much. Even when I'm doing all this stuff, there's still so much. And so if you're not actively getting the toxins and detoxing and cleansing and stuff like that, then you're going to be more beat down. You're going to be more like drained and stuff. So it's like a complete change in lifestyle. It's like they led people to go into an unhealthy lifestyle. And then this is changing. Just like they led people to, you know, to work themselves to death. You know, I mean, there's no accident that we are having people being dead at work. That is a part of the reevaluation for humanity. They're more like the martyrs to teach us these different situations so that we look at them and be like, man, what in the hell is a job? Someplace you get up, it takes all your time. You never make enough money. They don't value your time like you do. And it takes over your life. And it doesn't really give you anything back. And then there's so much manipulation in our, like in our environment of how we live. Like they can manipulate the prices of everything around you. And that is a part of this city thing. And look how high they can go. Like in New York and Seattle and San Francisco, there's been places that they've shown like they'll just keep jacking the prices up of places And people pay $2,000 to live in a fucking closet. In fucking China, they'll fucking pay $1,000 to live in a goddamn dog crate in a goddamn hall of a building. What the fuck? See how they'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and as long as, but it's funny because it's like they feed those people's ego. They get those people to think like they're doing the right thing. It's just like this, it's the same attitude as this girl, like making fun of these people who are against Bashar now. It's like, dude, he's saying who they would probably be checking the box for. He's saying, yeah, check her box. And because he would be blue. And I don't know his political thing. I just know that in the spiritual community, in the tarot and all of these different people, like when you were going and listening to these people, especially when things started shifting, there was a definite direction that they went. I would say, a lot of them would say they don't like Donald. They don't like the church. They don't like control. They don't like this. They don't like that. And they would be very into gender openness and all of those different things. So, I don't know. It's like these people are trying to make fun of people that they don't even understand who you're making fun of or what you're saying. It doesn't even make sense. And then you're still trying to just be all snarky. Like the whole point is just to be snarky to somebody, just to be rude. And so anyway, I still don't know what's going to go on with this Bashar thing. Because he definitely do. But he has this whole other group, though, who I don't know if they are... Because like the new spiritual, the love and light people... They are very, into crystals and like, putting these things, putting jewels. Like, I think he wears a pyramid over his third eye and, this stuff like, oh, I'm going to do all this stuff. When, I don't think you need to do all that stuff. Like, I was able to do all this shit at 3 years old. And I didn't do any of that. So I think it's just your connection. Like, you connect. You don't need if I just put a crystal right here, it's going to make it work better. Well, I don't know, maybe. But, like, I don't know, a 3-year-old could do it. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to be nasty or smug about... I just think that some people, it's like get way into the presentation, way into the show. So, like, get down to the nuts and bolts of it. Get down to what's real, not all this shit. And so you have that group of love and light people. Then you have this group of, because you have the Christians. That's its own thing. That's the thing we're waiting to see how that plays out. Like, that's going to be a big one. Then you have the people who have already started going off from Christianity. Have already started questioning it, trying to put all these pieces together. And so they're more in this, like, they're more into real spirituality, I would say, because they're more into this deeper understanding or something. Because love and light people, you can't just focus on the love and the light. You have to go into the dark. How can you release the dark if you're not even looking at it? And their theory is don't look at it. Keep your vibration high by ignoring anything you don't like. It's like, okay, that doesn't work. So that business is to me absurd. But then there's this other group that started, and to me it's because of a deeper feeling of connection to morals or something, maybe, because then there's this other part, like these Christians that are more connected to morals, not just the book or something. And then because there's a lot of stuff with the morals that don't go with the book. Like, that's going to be one of the things to watch how this plays out. Like, twisting and turning. How do I make this fit? People are dancing, trying to make shit fit. So these people who are more open to this spiritual side, like this mystical side of life, and I think a lot of them have been through some shit. I don't know. There's like there's a group that understands you got to face the dark. And that is going to make it better for you. So I don't know. It's like, there's just like a lot of different things because they're kind of like more in the middle. But it's like, to me, they will have an easier time to shift into this other stuff. Like the Love and Light people, these ones that are, are out here leading the way through spirituality and their awakening and stuff like that, that they aren't doing the work. They're out there life coaching. And I don't even know what the fuck they're life coaching about. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I would tell you, don't eat meat, don't eat meat. That's my coaching. Like, I'm not sure what it is. Like, go buy these crystals and that will help you. If you burn this candle, that will help you. Like, I'm not sure what their life coach, what they're trying to tell people how to live. Because I don't see them as living, like, when you're out there saying you're manifesting all this great life by charging these people who are suffering, spiritually collapsing, and you're charging them money to connect with them, and then you're throwing it up in their face of how great you're living when their lives are falling apart. There's like, you see how this karma is going to sweep back through. And so there's a lot of people who have been in that leadership role, who took on these roles of like, I'm a life coach. Because there's one that, this is so fucking absurd. It almost seemed like a joke, like, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. This life coach guy, he offered to these people who are in these crises, he's going to give them $500 off if they want to talk to him, because he will coach them through this disaster, what's happening. He will help them and coach them through it. And he's going to give them $500 off for now, with the bargain price of $24,500 for his fucking valuable time to coach you through your disaster. It's like, dude, my fucking guides will coach me for free. I mean, your shit. So that is the absurdity. But see, that is where this energy is going to flip back, because these people haven't been doing the work. You keep working on yourself and telling everybody else how to, you're working on your ego, and taking people in the wrong direction. Like when people are spiritually begging for somebody to give them some kind of it's like a life preserver. It's like people are finding themselves out there in open water spiritually, like, what the fuck is happening? And then you got people, well, I'll tell you, but it's going to cost you. It's like, that's you claim yourself to be spiritual. That's funny. So anyways, so that's going to be blowing up in all these different people's faces. They're going to be facing themselves, and they're going to be seeing their ego in a new way. Like, there's a whole part on that part that, yeah, it's like, you're just, to me, I'm just like watching these things coming. It's like you're sitting back observing, and it's like you see all these wrecks about to go down. It's like, oh, about to be a pile up there. Jeez, watch out where you're going. Like, it's crazy. So yeah, I see that as being like a fucking pile up, man, on the spiritual part. There's gonna be a lot of people are just gonna like disappear. They're gonna just fall off. They're gonna be all of a sudden, where'd they go? And because they've got to go work on themselves. They got to go face themselves. They got to go reevaluate, like, what the fuck? And then you have the Christians, it's like, just ignore all these things. Jesus is coming. Well, it's not my problem. Jesus will come take care of it, and all that whole business. And they're all being they comfortably walk through division and hierarchy. I'm better than you. Just like what I was saying yesterday. I'm on Jesus' team. You're going to hell. So that kind of attitude, that attitude is going to come and smack them in the face. They're going to get a big bite of themselves and get a good look at themselves. So they all have themselves, and and I'm still waiting to see, like, is there a whole group that is not going to face themselves, called Christian, that are going to rapture all together so that they don't have to face themselves? Like, that's what I'm curious about. And there's no getting away from yourself. There's none. Like, you can go face yourself in your review. And but this other group, though, this other group who has been really working on themselves. And like I've said, like I've known a lot of people who have been really working on themselves, and they are completely oblivious to the stuff going on in the world, but they've really been working on themselves, and they don't have a specific thing about, like, they're way more of an agnostic, way more of like, I don't know, weird shit. Like, that group I think is going to be the next group that is going to pull the other groups, because I think there's a lot of people who are in ego trying to tell everybody else how to live, take money for it and shit like that, that they're going to really fall hard. And it's not, I mean, there will be a sense of humiliation for some, but that's a part of their life diagram, a part of what it is they're supposed to face. And then these other people, but this group that has been working on themselves, that when things go down, yeah, they're going to have a lot of things that they're going to see that it was inverted, and that they were doing things that they wouldn't do if they would have understood. And so they're still going to have things to heal. The ones that, to me, who are going to ride this out the easiest is going to be the ones who are able to be in an observation. But the thing is it's not like riding it easy. It's very traumatic. It's very hard to watch this stuff happen. It's very hard because you, when you go through your healing, your compassion and empathy is highlighted. It's turned up. And so then you feel so much for all these different people. Oh yeah, because that one was because I didn't feel judgmental toward, oh, that was the Airbnb one, because of the corporation, because I could see she's trying to say, like, these people won't give us our money back. They won't let us cancel our vacation, even when a fucking town's been washed away. These people are trying to keep our money. And so I could get what she was saying, but her opener got all these stitches and all these people like, how dare her? How dare her? Well, it's like, fuck, all those people, the Hawaii thing was way worse. But now you got all these people like, if you have a trip planned here, don't come. Unless you're coming to help pick up dead people, stay the fuck away. And it's what happens in all these different places that have disasters, and the people just mindlessly want to keep going. But this lady, she was saying about the corporation, the money, they won't give us our money back. They're trying to tell us, too bad. It's like, that is absurd. If it was regular people and their house was washed away, but it sure sounds like she's dealing with one of those LLC entity Airbnb owner kind of places. So, anyways, that's a whole thing. Okay, so I still don't remember that one thing I was gonna say, but definitely I feel like if you get your stuff in alignment, if you are living like a healthy lifestyle, and that can be difficult if you're going through a lot of stuff, because a lot of people distract themselves by doing drugs, drinking, drama is a huge distraction. And so you may be using those kinds of coping skills to get away from. And don't be hard on yourself. Just, it's like a daily reevaluation of, how can I improve this day? How can I do better today? I may not be able to be perfect today. I may still have some of my same old bullshit, but I'm going to make a little change today. And then where can I tweak myself? Where can I make a change? And it may just simply be, you hear somebody say something and naturally you would like shoot back with something, but instead you just don't. You just sit. You just keep your mouth shut. It will be challenging too. You'll blow, yeah. And then once you get out of the situation, there'll be a reevaluation. It'll almost be like your guides are like, good job. Look at you, what you just did. Let's talk about it. Like, why do you think that was making you feel so strong? And why did you want to, go back at them? Why did, so just small things like that. You don't have to make giant, big things when you're trying to change your whole entire self. It is baby steps. It's like each day, just, that's kind of uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it because I want to do it, because the more I do it, the less uncomfortable, the more comfortable I will become doing something that makes me uncomfortable, the more I do it. But you got to also, be considerate of if it's a healthy thing or a good thing. Like, don't just try and do bad things, because you got tons of people out here just doing so many bad things. What was this? Well, that was a weird one. I heard somebody, oh, maybe that was the woman who was talking about her mom, that her mom couldn't even get off unless there was torture involved. Like, people get themselves into such a dark, dark place. Oh man, some of these people talking about their parents, like, fuck. Like, my parents look like saints. Oh yeah, I didn't finish saying that thing yesterday about this bump on my head, and because it's like by this scar that's driving me crazy lately, and this so right there is this bump, and this bump is when, because I've told this story before, about when I was a kid and my dad was trying to hit my mom with a chair, and I was swimming in the swimming pool, and I came up right as the chair came, it hit me in the face, and then I went back down into the water, and then drugged me up out of the water and took me in the house. And my mom and dad spent all their time fighting over who was going to go to the ER, and what they were going to say and all this stuff. I went and locked myself in the bathroom, and broken nose, my nose bleeding all over the place. And but it made this scar tissue across my head where the chair hit. And and what is weird is because before, it used to get really swollen. Like, right now, I even feel like it kind of looks swollen. Right when I'm about to say, because I feel like as I'm healing, that it's going down, like it's going away. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Okay. So yeah, so this scar tissue, I think, is going down as it's healing. Because before, sometimes it would go way up, and people would be like, what is that giant lump on your head? And for a lot of time, I was like, I don't have no idea. And then it took a while before I was like, oh, that's from when I got hit in the face with a chair. But on this, okay, so on the menopause thing, so, and on the taking care of yourself and stuff, because they always tell women, you know, like, you're going to get thick in the middle, you're going to have this, you're going to have that, and stuff like that. And then we go into that, and then we think, like, well, you know, I'm in menopause and stuff. I think it's all fake. And so on, and I have been talking about my stomach, and I've been talking about balance and my scoliosis and pulling myself straight, and finding balance, and I've talked about, like, where they've cut for surgeries, and how I think when it heals, it heals you in a distortion, and you don't realize it because you can't walk around normal for weeks. And I don't think you ever go back to walking how you walked before. And so while I've been doing all this work and working on myself, and with the little my little weights and stuff like that, is with my stomach, because there were so many surgeries they did on my torso, so many, and then to have scoliosis and stuff more, I'm like, I think this is I think it's creating it. And then also there's more spiritually when you're letting them cut you open and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff. But so anyways, I have been doing this, like I've said, I've been like, I don't know, sometimes there's like these little moves, like chop, 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 like on the scar tissue. Like, I'll just do that, or tap it, or rub it, or and then do, like, thinking about, like, you know, loving yourself, or releasing the pain, or facing yourself, or whatever it is. And so I've been working on this, like I've been talking about it for, I think, months. And I noticed that, especially on my C-section scar, because my C-section scar is right at my pubic bone. So they go like, oh, they're doing you a favor. They're going right at this bone. They're going to cut right there. It's not even going to be noticeable. Well, okay, until you cut into it like 3 more fucking times. And then you have scar tissue that's about this thick. And you have this big fucking wound that goes across there that is like open a little bit. Not open, but it's not just a line. It cut through. And so then you have this mass of scar tissue going around, and it's like pulling and stuff. And so now when I feel like there is, like, it really is working. But I'll tell you, it hurts. It definitely fucking hurts in pulling these the scar tissue. It's weird because it's like we're not flesh and blood, but the storyline that we're playing out, we are. So we have to go at it as we are flesh and blood. And so this that scar tissue. I was feeling it this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't have that big thing anymore. So I'm telling you, this shit really does work. And put it in your head too. Like, you got to keep this, healing and stuff. And another thing too, that I think is important, is watching stuff from your era. Like, there's something to the stuff about making you feel old, the way that they move through. So even when you're watching some movies and an actor comes on and is way older, it will make you feel older. Because, like, I don't know, there's something about it. There's something about it mental. I think you can find it probably in the CIA files, because there's been studies about it, that people go younger when you are in there, when they stick in their era. And there was another thing too that was coming into my mind at that, staying younger, because it's a mindset. The something with the people, see, I always said with the people, the something with the people in the movies, getting older. Oh yeah, this was I've seen so many of these videos, and it is really sad, but there is also this other side to it. It's like, why do we do this? Why? And so there's these videos of these moms making these big elaborate birthday parties, and then their kids sitting there and nobody coming to the party. Even when there's been RSVPs and stuff, nobody coming to the party. And I think they seem like both of these videos that I'm looking at right now, I think we're both like at Chuck E. Cheese. And so one lady, she had like a first grader or something, and a little girl, and she'd invited everybody from class, and there was RSVPs, and then nobody came. The little girl's just sitting there. So the mom was like, she didn't know what to do. So she went on Facebook, and she said, she did a post about it and said, anybody who wants to come is invited. So she said within 15 minutes, it was full. There were so many people, and they were brought, it's going to cry, because they brought presents. And it's like, that's community. That's when we come together. And it's on these waves of understanding. Like, these moms were all like bonded on this, like, fuck, man, I don't want my kid to go through that. And so they all show up, and make a huge fun party. And I'm sure there was lots of friends made. So this is where we, turn lemons into lemonade, where we come together. We don't let this stuff beat us down. And this other one, this woman was showing, and so hers was a 4-year-old, and she had this big elaborate party, and then, she'd invited everybody from daycare, and nobody came. And there's a lot of people who don't go to parties. For one thing, a lot of people have a lot of issues going on in their lives, and a lot of people don't have money, to go to parties. There's just, people are overwhelmed in their lives right now. And so you can't take it personally. But her thing about, like, it's her child's 4th birthday, and she really wants to make it special and make them understand, about their special day and stuff like that. You see how we go off crazy on this birthday shit? When, to me, it's like, we got to get away from this birthday. And then to get him really stuck, like, man, there's just so much toxicity around this birthday shit. And anyways, I just see a lot of toxicity around this birthday shit. And whatever, the things are that you're trying to deal with, there's other people who are trying to deal with it too. So you can, and it's not just like trauma bond, even though there is a trauma bond, but it's like building stuff up. Don't just sit and all like, oh, we're all victims together. Let's just all sit and whine together. Then those are your lessons. That's your entanglement. Or you can shift things and, start making things more positive. Because that's the direction we're going. And the more that people can do that for themselves, then the less traumatic it will happen for them. The less that people can do for themselves, the more traumatic the universe will shove them in a certain direction. And so, and it does hurt when you get pushed in another direction. And so many people don't realize how they're all going in the wrong direction. They don't realize, because they think, well, how would the universe let you go in the wrong direction? Oh, they do. They let you go in the wrong direction. Because there's lessons to it. And so you'll go in the wrong direction, and they could be urging you, pushing you, trying to get you to see that you're going in the wrong direction, but you just keep going. And, to the point you get a brain injury, a car wreck, or whatever. Like, I had everything that was happening. I lost everything. Like, everything was falling apart in my life to push me into a different direction. And so they will let you go in the wrong direction. No doubt about it. But but there's just so much to people understanding about life, is to really to take notice or recognize when you're trying to force things. And then ask yourself, what is the motivation? What am I trying to do here? Why am I trying to make sure this happens? It's got to happen this way. It's got to be this way. It's got to happen here. It's got to happen there. It's got to happen now. It's got to happen then. We get real stuck. And then we think that we have some sort of a say. And then when we're going and we keep hitting into this wall, and then we get upset, like, universe is working against us. No, they're working for you, because you're going in the wrong direction. You should need to be asking yourself, like, why am I trying to go in this direction? And so much has to do with fear. And so and you can't run from the inevitable. If you're going to die in a hurricane, or you're going to die in a whatever, it will find you. You can't run from it. There's no escaping. It's like that girl from Florida. Like, I don't know if she will be found dead or alive, but I just thought that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can't run from the inevitable. The inevitable will find you and catch you. What is meant to be is meant to be. And you don't have to force things. Things come to you. Like, life is chasing after you. You don't have to sit here and get up each day like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make this day work? No, the day's set. You have got to just go with the flow of the day. Get it in your head that the things that are meant for you will come to you, even if it's loss, even if it's death. No matter what it is, it finds you, because it's destiny. It's like you signed up for this shit. You signed up, like that role that you came into play had a slot of destined events. And then that is what you are here to experience and see, like, well, when this happens, what do you do? When this happens, what do you do? And it's not just, I mean, the universe enjoys the show, because they learn from everybody, they learn from your mistakes and stuff like that. But the main character is you. You were the one learning from the stuff. And you can learn from it with awareness now, or you can go and wait and go to your life review and learn then. And so it's all, it's all up to you, and I've been talking a long time, so let's wrap this up. And remember, what you're doing here is you're learning how to love yourself, how to love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.